Hey there, my name is David Thomas and we're your favorite energy workers. Welcome back to 3D Thinking. Before we get started, I want to make sure you're aware what 3D thinking is not. It is not a method of discernment. What it is a way to get your system in the correct vibrational frequency in order for your energy to flow properly so that you can make the proper choices and decisions in your life. We talked a lot about feeling into your body, pleasant, unpleasant, or I don't know. Just because a feeling is pleasant does not mean you go and jump off a cliff. And just because the feeling is unpleasant doesn't mean that you don't go up and talk to her and ask for a date. It's not about making a choice with the feelings of pleasant, unpleasant, or I don't know. The pleasant and unpleasant feelings in your system are simply a code where we're going to teach you how to discern if your system is actually running properly and able to get into that zone where everything flows properly and you know that you're going to make the right decision. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's get on to the training.
So if you would, this is the one-day initiation seminar that's going to be going on in France. And you talk about this concept of love, freedom, and truth. Can you please elaborate and talk to me and tell me why is this important when it comes to life? What is this all about?
Okay. So the whole idea is that actually thoughts are things. And like everything else in our environment, it has at least 3 dimensions. It's the same for thoughts. And actually, it manifests itself in our system through the fact that a concept, an idea, which for most people is what they would consider to be a thought, by itself, is actually always associated with a physical sensation. So it's not that there is a link between the two. No, it's one same thing. But when we're not aware of the two at the same time, it's almost like our consciousness is then fractionated. There is a separation inside ourselves. When we become aware again of the unity of the concept, the idea, and the physical sensation, something happens. The witness in you who is aware of the concept and the physical sensation makes the link, and those 3 parts come together in our awareness. They've been together all along. We just weren't aware of it. Now, thinking consciously with those 3 aspects united, we do have our full consciousness working for us, with us. So it's starting to work again as it is supposed to work. This is the reason why it's so easy and everybody gets it. It's because that's the way it is supposed to be. That's the natural way of thinking. Kids are thinking with their whole being and their body, their mind, everything. They just taught to think, in a different manner. And then it gets all crammed up. We're getting back to our natural well-being. That's why it feels good. That's why it's so easy, because it's been there all along. Does that answer your question? It was kind of a long answer.
Well, no, you answered a whole bunch of questions that I didn't even know that I had, Goo. So let me see if I can sort of kind of get it straight in my head from the very beginning. So my question was this concept of using these aspects of our psyche that we must connect to and that we must be incredibly clear about in order to be able to move forward in our lives. Now, in this particular initiation course, we're talking about, first off, recognizing that thoughts are things. And since thoughts are things, and things in this reality are 3-dimensional, well then we must think in 3 dimensions. Is that correct so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next thing is some of the three basic things just right off the bat that have to be addressed are love, freedom, and truth. And if we're off on one or more of those, then when we go to make a decision, we are not coming from our entire consciousness. We are actually being pulled or swayed a certain direction that does not have the highest point of reference. Am I still correct so far?
You are 100% correct, my friend.
So then the key, and this is where it sounds like it's going to be incredibly important, is that before I even get started, I got to know, am I resonating correctly, or do I have blocks to love, freedom, and truth?
So let's say your sense of happiness is kind of fuzzy or not the optimal that it could be for you. Well, you could do a lot of things the best way you can and never be satisfied. Just because you are mistaking happiness for something else. So your target was wrong to begin with. So you might aim and as perfectly as humanly possible, you can have the best tool ever. Well, that's not going to make you happy because there's part of your system who knows what happiness is, and everything you're going to be presenting it with is going to be, that's not it. That's not it. Do you see where I'm going with this?
I really am even seeing more clearly now than I saw previously, and I've been doing this work, how just getting the foundation is key to life itself.
Oh, yeah. This saying that exists in all spiritual or even any technical, any skill acquiring, at some point people tell you, if you want to be a master, you got to master the basics. When we're talking about what's motivating you in life, what's driving you in life, well, if you're interested in making your life any better in any area, well, that should be a subject that you should be interested in. What's motivating you? And if the vision, the perception you have of what's motivating you has been tampered with, is polluted, is not 100% reliable, you might be wanting to change that. It's not that complicated, and honestly, the benefits are uncanny. The value of that, you couldn't put a price on it. Because those little tweaks that we are helping people operate in their consciousness have so deep, profound, and powerful repercussions, there is nothing that's not going to be positively impacted by the shift in consciousness that's going to be operating. And I'm telling you, the people who are going to show up, they're not going to be the same by the end of the day. But those who are going to follow up and follow through with the technique, oh man, their real potential is going to be released. That's the key that we're giving. The way we put it makes it possible for anybody right then and there without, it being necessary for them to have previous training to get it. And with some training, oh man.
Jay, when we talk about the work that we're doing, what is it about this that you find is important?
Well, what excites me the most is that I spent the better part of 15 years with, the people I learned from being like, just feel it. Just feel it. I had to have 10 years before I can even start feeling it. With the three of us working together and then the power that we can bring to the emotions, to the feelings, we can instigate those gut feelings in degrees until people are fairly confident in what they're doing. I mean, everything's got to be practiced to get good at it, but we'll be able between the three of us to really bring it home and make it easy where we don't have to say just feel it. and wait for this minor feeling and wait for everything to line up so the stars align so you can actually feel what you're supposed to feel. And we'll be able to jack it up and give you that feeling and give you the feeling and give you the feeling a little stronger until you can feel it, and then we can back it back down. I mean, it's just going to be super exciting to work with, the two of you guys and be able to work with a group of people and be able to bring them to a level in a single day that took me years to understand how to do. I mean, it's just going to be so exciting to give this opportunity to people to get this information that took so long to learn for me.
You're absolutely right. We're going to give these people an opportunity to feel something that they normally may bypass or may just dismiss as nothing.
Well, and another way to look at it is they're going to feel something that you're lucky if you were to feel maybe 10 times in your life. I mean, most people talk about feeling that gut sensation maybe, 2 or 3 times in their life. And a lot of those people that felt that gut sensation were extremely successful people. I mean, because of that one gut sensation, that one feeling that made them make that leap. You hear about this gut feeling in marriages. You hear it in people that make a lot of money. You hear it in very successful people. You hear it in people that just love where they live. Well, it was all due to that one moment they said, oh, it just felt right. I knew I was going to marry her the day I met her. Oh, well, why can't we use that every day? And that's what I hope to bring to these people is, instead of talking about getting that 10 times in your life where you get such a solid, clear picture and understanding of what you should do, I would like to hear these people talk about getting it once a month at the beginning. As they get used to it and they get to learn it more and more, they'll get where they're using it on a weekly basis. It'll be exciting.
Interesting, Jake. Actually, you brought up something that I hadn't thought about, but what you're saying is that it's not about just when you need to make a decision. It's not just about sitting down, getting quiet, feeling what you feel, but it's about connecting and clearing up the areas that may be blocked, making sure that you don't have any resistance to actually feeling your system, and then learning how to get your system operational to the point where you could just not even be having to make a decision, and you connect with your system to where you just get a gut feeling and you go, ooh, that's it. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Well, yeah, think about it. You do this all of the time, and this is what excites me is you actually use it. Nagoob actually uses it. It's something I'm aware of and I use on a regular basis. When we were walking through Paris, you said, oh, we shouldn't go down that road, and you just turned and started walking down a different roadway. It was a little bit out of our way, and then everybody, well, why are we going this way? And you said, oh, because it feels right. That is what I'm talking about. You did it before you even realized. You'd already decided and listened to your gut before you'd ever realized what was going on. The fact that 3 people were following us, coming out of a bar and coming up that way, I don't even think you ever recognized, because, I was at the back of the group and they didn't come out of the bar until after, 5 or 10 minutes after we'd almost walked around the next corner. And then they came out of the bar. They're fairly big fellers. I mean, they seemed a little rowdy, and it made perfect sense to me, and you used it, said it before you even realized what you were doing.
Yeah, I remember the situation clearly. We had to walk around a pretty long block because of that one.
That was a huge block.
Well, that's cool, and I'm super excited that we get a chance to bring this training to whoever decides to show up and hang out with us for a day. Man, is this going to be fun? It's just going to be fun.
Well, there's a lot of people that are already asking if we could record it because they just can't make the event, which we're understanding. But the biggest loss in not being at the actual event is if you're not there, we can't do the same amount of energy work on you. If you're not there, you're going to lose out on probably 75% of what what you could receive. It's going to be really powerful for the people that are there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Awesome. Well, before I take off, is there anything else that you wanted to throw in?
Well, I would just really stress for anybody that's in the area or anybody that's close, I would say get there, be there, and experience this, and see what you can take from it. Find the gold in what we're going to do there, and I think it's going to be really easy to find benefit if you show up. And you're going to learn a great deal and get extremely large amounts of information that's just generally not given. And, I hope to see everybody there.
Well, one thing that I'm getting, Jake, is that this has the potential to be a game changer for a large amount of people, because this is something that they can take to not just one aspect or two aspects, but the entire aspect of everything that goes on in their life. And that this is something that literally will take them to a place that most people can only dream of.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely something that can have the opportunity, if you apply it at all, to change your life. And because of the way we're setting it up, you're not going to be able to not apply it. It's just going to come to you naturally by the end of that day. To some degree. I mean, if you're there, you're going to gain benefit by a little bit, no matter what you want to do. If you actually apply it and work at what we teach and try to grow it, it'll completely be life altering, and you'll be able to see the benefit every day.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, as usual, it is always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm super excited. This is good stuff.
Nous sommes your favorite energy workers.